Welcome to a quick sharp review of Alice in Borderland, the complete manga collection. I'm going to be talking a bit about the physical release, the story itself, and then lastly what music I'd recommend listening to when reading it. So we've got 9 volumes of a 2-in-1 collection, so there's 18 volumes in total. Includes the entire story of Alice in Borderland. It does not include Alice in Borderland Retry, which was, I guess, a semi-sequel 1 or 2 volume thing that they did a while afterwards. It does not include Alice on the Border Road, the spin-off series. It does contain all the side stories from the original Alice in Borderland series, and they're sort of scattered throughout here, and I'll get into that a little bit more. These are under the Viz signature line, so they are a bit bigger than the normal volumes. And just want to draw attention to the beautiful spine art that we've got here of the city, and this is from a panel in the first volume here. But it basically shows all these lasers coming down throughout the city, and if you know the story, then you know what that represents. In terms of paper quality, I mean, it's fairly okay, I would say. You can see that just from age, the order I got these was a little bit out of order, so you can see there's a fair bit more yellowing on this volume 4. And if we look at page quality in general, it's just pretty standard stuff. It's probably a slightly bit better than normal manga paper quality. There is still a little bit of bleed through there, but I think the big pages make up for just like the standard thing. And obviously, if the page quality is better, then the price of these goes up as well. I think the price on this series is fairly decent. They list it here as $19 USA. I wonder if that was the same by the time the 9th volume was released. $22.99 USA. Yeah, there you go. I think I got these for around 23 Australian dollars each. Probably some of them a bit less. And then in terms of covers, so we've got cover art from the original volume here, and then the original volume 2 there. So and they're sort of made to look like playing cards, which again sort of matches up with the story. So I don't believe we've got any color pages. I'm just checking that. I'm pretty sure if there was going to be any, it would be in 1 and 9, and I'll just confirm that by looking. Is this 9? No, that's 6. Doesn't matter. They're not. I just read it the other day. There's no color pages, which is okay. That's fine. I think the artwork is okay. I think they could have done a bit better with it, particularly because the different colors here are pretty interesting, and they look interesting when you look at the original volume covers, which I'll put up now. I think there's just a bit more going on than this sort of muted grey stuff that's happening, because it's all in the back as well, and every single one of the backs has the same art, which again is just a wasted opportunity in my view. In terms of the story itself, Alice in Borderland is like a death game series. So you have people who are thrust into games that they have to play to survive. Some of those vary in terms of their difficulty and how hard they are and how many people die. You realise early on that anyone can die in this, so that makes things fairly interesting. There's a lot of interesting, if you like sort of psychological stuff, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. The physical games are probably less interesting in my view, just because there's a bit less going on than the psychological mind game stuff. I will say that the side stories that are in these, that are just interspersed, are good. Sometimes I think it takes away from the flow of the story a bit, because you're following Arisu, the main character, and people around him, and then when we go off to these side stories, it's fun in the way that you see lots of different games being played, and that any of them could die, right? They don't have the plot armor that the main characters have. But at the same time, you lose a bit of the momentum of finding out what's going on with Arisu's friends and his group. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. But look, I'm glad they're in. I'm glad they kept it in. And what they did with there's a Netflix adaptation, a live action adaptation of the series, which I will say is probably the best live action adaptation of an anime that I've seen. It's really good. It's really faithful, and I think all the changes they make actually work in favor of the of the story overall, featuring some characters more, making some side stories that were in the manga featuring the main characters instead. It just helps the plot flow a little bit better, and I think the tension is really good. The artwork in this series is okay. I think it's pretty rudimentary. There are some really interesting panels. If you had to decide about watching or reading one of these, I don't really know which one I would say. I think the show is really, really good. I did see that they're making a third season. I don't know how. Anyone who's seen the second season or read the manga would be a bit confused by that, like I am, because it wrapped up quite nicely. And I really enjoyed the ending of these. Like I said, it's very faithful, so it follows the pacing and the plot lines and characters fairly well. In terms of what to listen to and reading it, I would listen to, there's a playlist I made that I'll link in the description, a Spotify playlist called Tension, Seinen Manga. So it's specifically for these types of stories where there's a bit of tension going on, it's dark, there are some light moments, but it's all that sort of mind game, tension, stress sort of stuff, and that made my reading experience much better for it. Have you seen the show? Have you read the manga? Let me know what other live action adaptations of manga you think are worthwhile, because I think this one's probably one of the best ones. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.